Whenever a stranger enters the room, the first thing that we look at their eyebrows to say, are they raised in recognition or are they furrowed as a foe? And the reason that we look for that is because we go back to how did we survive as a species? One time a stranger came in, we first looked for intent with the eyes. And then after that, back to your point, we looked in their hands to say, is there anything that can hurt us? And that's why we love open palm gestures.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my podcast today in the driver's seat with me, Janine Driver. I am so happy you're here.
Are you ready for one of the coolest podcasts on the web? Janine Driver is a badass. She's an expert on body language, persuasion, emotional intelligence, decision-making hack. 9-minute badass brain hacks for a happier life and stronger relationships.
Because we're now friends, and because I promise you we're going to have a ton of fun today, I'm wondering if you could do me a small favor. I'm wondering if you will promise me that you won't listen to this show just to be nice. You will only listen and follow if you see the value in it and you truly love my show In the Driver's Seat. Sound fair enough?
This is In the Driver's Seat with Janine Driver.
This show is 9-minute brain hacks in the driver's seat with me, Janine Driver, to make you a badass. We talk about body language and statement analysis, which are words with hidden meaning, microexpressions. I will bring on special guests. My friend Brian Galke's here. I'll get some bonus material from you, Brian. What can we look for in the face? He does something called physiognomy when we're looking at someone's shape of their face. There's Brian now. Today we talked about this microexpression, disgust, which is repelling contaminated objects when it's out of place, someone changing their baseline, spotting deception. We also talked about open palm gestures as a sincerity gesture. Yep. So there were parts where I thought this guy was telling the truth, that he doesn't know what he would say to JonBenet Ramsey's dad, John Ramsey. I believe that to be true. Can we look at someone's face with physiognomy? And you and I will co-host a show in the future. And sure. I know we're talking about launching our own podcast together. Is there a certain facial feature that can indicate, be careful of this person? Or is there a feature that says, hey, this person's probably very open, very trustworthy. This is the kind of person that has your back?
Sure. I'll go through one, not normally with resting facial features, but however, from a societal standpoint, is whenever a stranger enters the room, the first thing that we look at their eyebrows to say, are they raised in recognition? Or are they furrowed as a foe? And the reason that we look for that is because we go back to how did we survive as a species? One time a stranger came in, we first looked for intent with the eyes. And then after that, back to your point, we looked in their hands to say, is there anything that can hurt us? And that's why we love open palm gestures. But instinctively, the first place we always look is for the eyes to go, hey, like recognition, or who is that? What do you do there to do? They're searching the environment. And that's one of the first things that we look for. And so naturally, when we look at people, the reason why in face reading and decoding faces that I teach eyebrows is because this is the first place we look instinctively. And we don't realize that that's where we go to. So there isn't necessarily one to be worried about. Like a lot of people, like I have angled eyebrows. We think that we have to be worried about angled eyebrows because all the Disney characters that were villains had angled eyebrows in it. But really what angled eyebrows are, they're authoritarian eyebrows. And that is people who need to know, help me understand what my angle is, and then I can help other people after the fact. But there isn't one that you have to instantly be aware of is certain in terms of the shape of an eyebrow. However, if somebody walks in and they've got a furrowed brow, and then you look and see things like, are their nostrils flaring? Are they pumping their jaw? Those are all warning signs when you meet someone. Or you can also look a little bit closer to their eye. And if their eye is, if we're stressed out, and again, we'll come back and we'll do more of a master class on this together, but if there's white under their eye, then they're under stress. But if there's white over their eye, like this, then they're over their limit. And that's another sign.
Brian, for the people watching on YouTube, Brian's lifting his eyelid up so we can see the white part. People not watching on YouTube, be listening on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So when that's the first thing when we look in, when any stranger enters a room, we immediately are drawn to their face, more particularly their eyebrows and eyes. And so the two things you can look out for is, are they high, raised in recognition? Are they down because they're searching the environment? And
what about people who have light eyebrows?
So those are called chameleon eyebrows. And that is, we don't really know, but we still instinctively look there. And so we have to get closer to determine what is the height that's going on or what shape of their eyebrows. So it's one that kind of throws us off a little bit. But watch, now that you're aware of it, kind of with the reticular activating system, when somebody new walks in a room, we don't look down at their feet to see what kind of nice shoes they have. We go to their eyebrows first.
Yeah, do you know what? Also, if I could take it to the next level, we do go up to the eyebrows. We go to the top of the eyebrows. It's someone brand new. Then we go to the chest. And
Yes.
so this is very interesting. So I call it the upside down triangle. It goes from the eyebrows down to the chest, the center of the chest bone there, if you're doing CPR. And it's natural for us to do that for a stranger. Now, guys get a bad rap if a woman's wearing something a little provocative,
Right.
and but all of our eyes naturally go there. As a matter of fact, over at TSA, they were creating some equipment a while back. I don't know whatever happened to it, where they were looking at eye trackers, and they
Mhm.
would put suspicious travelers. This was after 9/11. Suspicious travelers, and they would put you in a room, and you would look at different pictures of faces, and they would
Mhm.
have like from the belly button up, right, the whole body, and
Right.
they would track your eyes to see if you say, no, I don't know that person. No, I don't know that person. No, I don't know that person. Well, when you say no, your eyes should still go from the eyebrows, like you're saying, Brian, down
Mhm.
to the center of the chest and back. So
Yeah.
anytime someone said, no, I don't know that person, but they did the small upside down triangle from the forehead and eyebrows to the chin, then they know they either they do know that person, or they saw that person on the media. Or we used to have when Bush was president, GW, the baby, he had a deck of cards that went out on all the people who were trying to take down
Mhm.
for the 9/11 and that whole thing with the Taliban. I don't know whatever happened to that equipment, but one of the things that was instrumental was eye tracking. On if you've met someone before, you go from the eyebrows to the chin or
Mhm.
just below the chin. If you've never seen someone before, you go from the eyebrows to the chest. And the reason is this person a threat? We're taking
Exactly.
that whole person in. Is this person a threat? I'm going down to the chest area to see, what do I have to deal with here?
Mhm.
My eyebrows are very, very light. But I color them on. And of course, I color them in a curve. But it's so funny because I've been working on it lately. Sometimes I just do a straight one because,
Mhm.
straight to the point. I'm like, I'm going to
Yeah.
experiment today. I'm going on a date or I'm going to a meeting, and I'm going to like say it's a more left brained audience. Lockheed Martin's a big client of mine. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do straight eyebrows for Lockheed because
Yeah.
people like themselves. And I'm
Yep.
going to go straight to the point. I'm going to start with facts and figures and data. They're making that big, huge missile that's taken out the Putin with regard to the war with Ukraine. That's called the Javelin missile. I saw the Mac Daddy Javelin missile. My
Yeah.
client's a woman. She's a badass. She got to fire the Javelin missile. You put it on your shoulder. It is amazing. Lockheed Martin's so amazing. And I did the eyebrows straight across because people like themselves. Why not? If I'm already
Exactly.
drawing them on, why not? And then if I
Mhm.
go on a date, I curve them up. So let me ask you this before we get out, and now I have to schedule a time for you to come back. I know you focus on the eyebrows a lot. There's something I would love for you if you're open to talking about it for a hot second, Brian.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm talking to Brian Galke. Subtleskills.com is his website. He's also a fellow keynote speaker. We both go on court TV and television programs weighing in on human behavior. We have a joint class together. What do you say we do in our joint class?
Read the face, read the room. So it's how can you look up somebody on Zoom, understand the audience, pitch to them so you get in the room. And then that's when Janine really takes over, because then it becomes microexpressions, statement analysis, body language. So first, how do you get in the room? And then what do you do when you're in the room? So read the face, read the room.
Yeah, but what's your tagline? You always say that. I always forget it.
No, read the face, read the room.
But there's
Yeah.
something else. Like you're the
Oh,
before, I'm the after.
proactive and reactive is
Yes,
what you're
that's
thinking.
it. I
Yes.
gotta
I was like,
remember.
I was trying to think of like the sayings we had for it, but yes,
Yeah, yeah. We
I'm the
we both have
proactive
cheeky
side
sayings.
and you're the reactive side once we're in there. Yes.
Yes, you're proactive. I'm reactive. So we do a joint keynote together. A couple of big companies brought us in, and Brian walks around and does facial readings, and we do a joint keynote on the stage. It's really fun. It's 2 hours. If you're looking for keynote speakers, let me know, and we'll check our availability. But what I wanted to have one last thing before we say our goodbyes. My 9-minute podcast has gone to like 29.
I didn't want to
Is
say anything, but yeah,
It's okay. I don't care. It's under promise, over deliver, they say in sales.
that's right.
The nose thing. I went on a date with this guy last year, and there were 11 hotspots. I'm like, this guy is lying. I literally went on Facebook. There's a site. There's a special group on Facebook called "Are We Dating the Same Guys?" And you can post the pictures of the guys, and some people put screenshots of what people say, and it's supposed to keep women
Wow.
safe, like, hey,
Yeah.
this is my ex-husband, he has this STD, or he's currently married, he's my husband, or this guy has 16 girls, whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
not supposed to just be to
A
bash
gossip
guys.
site. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be for that. So when people do that, they get kicked out. But nevertheless, I go there anytime I have a date. I search the guy's name to see. I don't want to waste my time. Is this guy, lighting up like a Christmas tree over on this page? I'm
Yeah.
on all of them, right? So in the DMV area, DC, Virginia, Maryland. Anyway, I've never posted somebody. This guy, at the end of the day, it was like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. I went online. I posted this guy. I put
Hmm.
his picture. I go, listen, something's up. Here's 11 hotspots. And I gave verbal and nonverbal why this guy's, I said, he's either married or he's got a girlfriend or something. He had like memorized stories. I'd ask a question and he couldn't push outside my questions. Like he
Yeah.
only had his like little script. The whole thing was just, authenticity can be measured, listener.
Right.
Authenticity is up to 40 times stronger than love. So they can measure the energy of authenticity. Some people say it's even way more than 40%. So I think
Hmm.
I'm comfortable saying 40%. I put him on there, and within 15 minutes, no joke, this woman, Nina, writes and says, oh my gosh, that's my boyfriend for over a year and a half. I'm turning 50 this weekend. He's taking me away. I can't even believe it. He told me he's with his kids tonight. I'm gutted. I'm at the airport picking my son up. He just came back from a trip. Um, Please, how can we communicate? I talked to her in the morning. By the way, now we're lifelong friends, Nina and I. She's in Maryland, an hour and a half away. She comes and sleeps over. I'm 54. We do sleepover parties. We run a meetup group here in Alexandria over 40 fun as fuck group. And she's my co-host. So God knows what he's doing, man. He backed us into that friendship for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I share this story with you, listener, and Brian, is because he had a certain nose. And you pointed out that nose, and you often see it like in the Disney characters, like a Squidward nose, where this
Yeah.
nose like curved down. Can you talk
Right.
about that nose? Because now Nina and I, when we meet someone on any of these dating apps and we see that nose, the Squidward nose, we call it, we send the picture to either you or to each other, and we're like, look,
Yes.
Squidward nose is back. And we say no to those people.
Yeah, so for people who've never experienced this before, there's lots of books you can pick up on it. The Power of Face Reading is probably the best one on it. But the skill's been around since the Greeks because people really get offended and go, well, I'm born genetically with that nose. That's not necessarily true. There's 43 muscles in the face. The mind creates movement, movement creates muscle. So all of our features can change over time. Our nostrils can get larger or smaller. Our nose can change. And then people go, no, it's cartilage. Yes, but it's attached to muscle. But when you see someone with a downturned nose, it's like you can't see nostrils, then they don't have air to share. So basically, they're concerned about their goals, what they're going to chase, what they're going to pursue. So going back to what we talked about earlier, villains in movies always have angled eyebrows. I have angled eyebrows. You just have to help me understand it so then I can help other people. But villains always have angled eyebrows and a downturned nose and a pointed chin. So it's not a feature that's bad, but there are multiple features that if they're combined together, I'd pay a little more attention. But people whose nose downturns, like you can't see nostrils at all, then they're only concerned about, what's the end goal. So, oh, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. So it's not a particular feature, it's features in combination. Just like I don't cook, but I know people who do cook. And salt can flavor a dish or it can ruin a dish. So it's adding all these different facial features together to give you an idea of who the person is. But yes, that's one that if you see it, you just got to know that person usually tends to focus on their goals and not the collateral that goes along with it. And that's why you'll see it sometimes on CEOs and people who have to make the rough decisions. Well, this is the best decision for the company. Sometimes it is because it's the only way for the company to stay alive. So it's all based on the context around how is that feature used, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really good. So it's that combination of those three and, just being cautious, paying
Yes.
attention. For those who are listening at home, if you are single and dating or about to be single and date, Brian has a online course that you can check out called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Faces.com. I remember
Yep.
I was walking through the what's the name of that store? Home Goods. And we were
Mhm.
talking, and every time I got divorced back during the COVID time, I think 2020, I took a little time off a year, and then I like started dating like gangbusters. At first, Brian, I'd go on a date and I'm like, I don't know if I could see myself blending my family with his family for the rest of my life. And you said to me, Brian,
Oh,
uh,
it's not everything's a purchase. Sometimes it's a rental.
yeah, you said don't look to buy, look to lease. Like you're just trying
Yeah,
to figure out what neighborhood you might want to be in. Like,
exactly.
and then you said, do what you used to do before you got married. Well, I was with my ex-husband for 20 years. We're great friends now with the grace of God. And I was like, what did I do 20 years ago? So I started doing stand-up comedy. Now I do improv. I went back to my comedic roots, which is really fun. So thanks. That's such good advice. And every time I'd start going on dates, I'd send you, Brian, the pictures of these guys. And you're so sweet. Within minutes, Brian writes all these words and arrows, and you could pay him to do it as well for people in your life if you want him to analyze pictures. I don't know what you charge for that these days. And but he puts these words and tells you. And by the way, I showed every guy I actually dated, every single one. And you know this, 100% of the people said yes. And some guys I never saw more than a second time because we just weren't a fit. But every single person said it was either 100% or 99.9% accurate. There might have been one tiny thing for one person, I think. But then when we talked to him together, he's like, oh, okay, I can own that. Some people don't want to own their shit.
Well, I'm laughing because it's got to be a daunting task to go out on a date with you. And you're like, by the way, I'm a bilanguage expert and I'm going to send your face off to someone else to have it analyzed for me. Can you imagine the person? They've got to feel like they're under a spotlight about to be interrogated.
Yeah, I'm a real peach to date. Plus, I'm friends with Michelle Dresbold, who wrote the book Sex, Lies, and Handwriting. So anytime a guy writes me a note or sends me a little something or signs something with a signature, I take a picture and I send that to her immediately. She brought down the DC snipers. The FBI hired her to create the case, to create a criminal profile. So I've got you and Michelle Dresbold in my back pocket. Guys don't have a shot. Hey, the good news is my 3 sons, when I do bring in my forever partner, this guy will be vetted to the 10th power. Like my 3 sons are going to be in good hands.
It's only inauthentic people who don't have a shot. Authentic people have all the shots in the world. It's the people who aren't that have to do it. But I have to run, so I will catch up with you a little bit later on.
This was so great. Check it out. Subtle Skills. That's Brian Galke that just joined us. And if you want to buy his online training, he has business training as well. But if you're in the dating world, it's Looking for Love in All the Wrong Faces. I called him at a Home Depot. He goes, I think I'm going to do the website since I've helped you so much, called Looking for Love in All the Wrong Faces. I went to GoDaddy. I go, it's available. Buy it now. Check it out. The training, he uses little cartoon characters and you test on it. He also sells flashcards if this is something you're interested in learning. It's called Physiognomy. And we'll have you back, Brian, where you could talk about the science and the history behind it and why it's not tea leaf reading, why it used to be literally taught in classrooms and why it no longer is taught in classrooms. So I look forward to having you back, Brian. Listener, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for hopefully enjoying this bonus content for 9 minutes here to make you a badass on In the Driver's Seat with me, Janine Driver.
Thanks for tuning in to In the Driver's Seat with Janine Driver. Use these insights to make your life easier and relationships stronger. Remember, you matter and belong, and you're not alone on this journey. If this is your first time in the driver's seat, Janine would like to give you a free gift. You're invited as her guest to join her live weekly online class to master the new body language so you can boost your relationships. Sign up now at www.janinedriver.com. That's janinedriver.com. Until next time, keep driving forward. Bye now.
I hope you learned some cool shit today to make your life easier and grow your relationships. And if you happen to be inspired to look at your world differently, I'm wondering if you'll recommend my show In the Driver's Seat with me, Janine Driver, to some of your friends, because that's exclusively how this show is growing. Thanks to you and people just like you, but only if you like the show. Sound good?